Hello guys, so welcome back to our next video and one of the most interesting videos in this series. So today we are gonna start with object-oriented programming. Let me just check if we are recording, and yes we are. So we are gonna learn about classes in C Sharp. So if you Google and just go to W3 schools, I just pulled the definitions from there. Class is like an object constructor or a blueprint for creating objects. If you are not understanding what is an object, what is a constructor, don't worry. I'm just reading this stuff out. In the next slide, we'll see how uh, things will work and how we can implement classes and objects in our taxes calculator, or whatever we are calling the software we are making. Uh, so everything in C Sharp is associated with classes and objects. That's the main attractive thing about C Sharp, along with its attributes and methods. So for example, in real life, car is an object. The car has attributes such as weight, color, methods such as drive and brake. So right now we were working with the structure where names, money. We are going to introduce one more attribute, which is addresses. So we are going to need the citizens addresses as well. So these things were separate in case of name and money. There was no linking, and the only linking we used was the index of the arrays, which we were using in loops. Or if before that we were hard coding it, which means we had to type it name1 and money1. But if we make a class of name citizen, so class is a blueprint, right, which stores the value of money, address and name. So what this means is, in this class object, class is a container which stores these three values, and then we can make our citizens from the class. So think of it like data types, but not exactly like that. When we start coding, you guys will understand more, but then we'll make new citizens, and these citizens will have these attributes already into them. So we can directly go like calculate taxes of John, which will be super awesome. Like, it's gonna be easy, quick, efficient, and it will make our code much cleaner and much user friendly or programmer friendly for the person you'll show the code to. So let's switch to Visual Studio right here, and this is where we left our code the last time. To be honest, I am recording this after many days and it looks a little bit messy, so we'll start working on it. So as you can see, we were already working with a class name program, but we'll need to make a new class. I'll just collapse this from here, so I just did like this. So we are going to need a customer class, so I'll just name it customer and I'll do this. So what this does is it makes a class, as obvious as that, which is named customer. Its identifier is a customer. So the things we had here, no wait, we have a citizen, right? I'm so sorry. Is it citizen here? Yeah, it is citizen here. So we had money and names. So what I'll do is I'll just say a string name is equal to I'll give it a default value of citizen name. Further on we can calibrate this name inside the class as well. I'll show it how. We'll go int money is equal to, I'll default the money to 0, and again string address, and I'll default this address to earth, which is funny because it is our default address. And I'll remove this line, console.hello world. I just don't need it now, because I hope you guys understand how WriteLine works. So what we can do is we can start working on this. There's one more thing I need to teach you guys is modifiers. So if you can see static, which I said in a very previous video that we learn about static later on, There are three access modifiers we are going to learn, which is private, public, and static. So I'll just comment it out here. Access modifiers: public, private, and static. So public means if you go and give any method or any variable a modifier, which is an access modifier. So if I say public string, then I can access this data from this class. So you can access different variables from different classes if you give it the modifier public. If I give it private, you cannot access that, and if I give it static, it will remain the same for all the objects. Don't worry if you're not understanding. Once we start implementing things, you'll understand it. So I want our name and our money to be accessed by this class program because we are calculating taxes here and displaying them. So I'll make them public because yeah, I want them to access them. And one thing is, I don't want the addresses to be accessible by the people who are calculating taxes because privacy, I guess. I don't know, but I don't want them to know the addresses, so I'll go private, and I'll show you why, how private works and how public works in a minute. So we can actually remove everything here. I hope these things are clear. So I'm just gonna erase this comment because it's getting annoying for me, not gonna lie. So now we have made a class named citizen. So I can just go citizen and our one second, I'll just keep our these two things because I want them for reference. So I'll just go class, we had Steve is equal to new citizen. What this does is, what is the error we are getting? Something expected. What? Oh, I gave your class. I have to specify a citizen here. I'm so sorry. So I'll go citizen Steve is equal to new citizen. This is like we are telling it to inherit from, or you are of citizen. You are a citizen. Like if when we make a variable, we tell him you are of type int. I'll say you are of type citizen. So I'll make Steve is equal to new citizen, and if I just go out and console dot write line and I say Steve dot name, to be honest it's ironic, but we'll store full names here in name. This is not the best way you can work with classes, but I feel to do it like this, you guys, because we have we already have a name on the class itself. Like I'm naming him here Steve, so I don't need this string here. But you know, it's my tutorial series, I can do whatever I want. So if we run this now, you guys can see it is printing citizen name and not Steve, because the default value of Steve is citizen name. So that is working. We can confirm that our classes are working definitely. One more thing I needed to make is public bool is mayor, and we'll default it to false. Later on we can have types of citizens, and I want to do it using enums, which will be covered in, I guess, after 1 or 2 videos. But for now, bool is sufficient, which is mayor is false. So, and I need it to be public because I want this method to access this bool. It's like, because we are checking if we have a mayor named Alex, right? So that's that. And now if I try to print address, see, it doesn't suggest me here. And if I say you can read like citizen address is inaccessible due to its protection level, because we have given it a private. So I'll just go name again, and one more thing I need to create, and which is public int citizen count, and I think I'll default it to 0, because obviously. And now we can like get started working on our constructor. Constructor is basically to give a good idea of a constructor is when you make an object. This is creating an object in class in C#. So we are creating an object of citizen name Steve, but I want to pass in some data, right? Like when I'm creating this object, I need to tell my program that yeah, I'm making Steve, so give him name Steve, and then give him $25 and make him not mayor, and change his address maybe. So we can go public citizen again and make sure that your name and this name of constructor is similar. One thing about constructor is you can make multiple constructors. Again, if you're not getting it, it's totally fine. So I'll just go console dot write line, and I'll say made a citizen who doesn't have any data. And if I run this now, it will say made a citizen who doesn't have any data, and it will print a citizen name. So this is cool. This is used in many cases where you don't pass in any data and just create an object, and afterwards you want to modify the data of that object. Again, object is our Steve, which is of the class citizen. So you make an object from a class like our Steve is. So now if I want to make an object and give it the data already, we cannot just directly I can just do Steve dot name is equal to Steve, which is super fine, and you can do this. Instead, what I want to do is I want to use a constructor for it again. So I'll go public citizen again, and as I mentioned earlier, you can make multiple constructors. I'll go string name, then I want to give it some money. Let's say int money, and I want the bool is mayor, string address. So there is one more thing I can do is I can make one more constructor, and I'll just copy these things, paste it here, and I can remove this. So when we are making a normal citizen, we can use this constructor, and when we are making a mayor, we can use this constructor to specify whether our citizen is a mayor or not. But we can act this, you'll think this is not that refined, but when we start using enums, I think we can just make it in one constructor. You can actually erase this and just use this constructor and always give the value false for the mayor, but I just want to, for the sake of it, I'm making some different stuff. So these are 3 constructors we have. So if you don't pass in any data like we are doing it here, it will use this constructor. If we pass it some data, for example, I'm just gonna do it here now, which I'll go is I guess I'll give it a string Steve, then I have to give it money, and as you can see, you're getting your you're getting your data here, which you have to input, which we specified here. If I say 25, and if I go address New York, and now if I print the name should come Steve, if you think like that, but it will not, because this thing is this thing and this thing is not this thing. So you have to make this thing into this thing. If you're not getting what this thing is, that thing, don't worry, I'm just messing around. So as we saw, it is still returning a citizen name. The reason is we have not modified this variable yet. It's very easy. I'll just go name, which is here, is equal to name, and if I run it now, it should give Steve, which is super amazing. I'll just close this constructor for a while because we won't be using it. Oh, okay. I'll just close it. I won't comment it out because it's giving errors. I'll go money is equal to money and address is equal to address. That's super awesome. And what we can do is we can just go and erase this calculate taxes, and what I'll do is I'll actually cut it out and I'll put it in here. It will say you're not giving me enough data. Oh, it's working, which is super awesome. But we'll not need this Alex thing. Instead we are going to use mayor, which is super awesome. And erase this all, and I'll just give it one more condition, is mayor. Okay, I don't think we can access is mayor here as well. What? I'll just go void. Okay, we can access it. I don't know why keeping it static, you can't use your variables which are you're using here, because the void is static. Again, I have not taught you how to use. Oh, I forgot to give it static here. I have not taught you how to use static variables which uses the access modifier static. So wait out for a minute. I'll teach you. Bear with me if this video is any longer, but it is necessary for, I don't know why. So if our guy is not mayor, then I want you guys to calculate taxes. What the hell? Yeah. So, or else I just wanna say, what is up with me today? I think I'm hungry, that's why I'm not able to write good code. Mayor doesn't have to pay taxes. So we have made our calculate taxes void and we have integrated it into our class. So it is free of our I'm so sorry, it is free of our program class. It is, everything is being integrated into the citizen, which is super amazing. And we have like reduced the lines of code where we have just put is mayor, which is again, in my opinion, super awesome. Just one thing we have to do is we have to pass it the name which we are using here, right? So, but it's not taking it. I'll just keep it like this for a while. I don't know, man. I just wanted to say calculate taxes and it will, oh, we can do it like this. Yeah. So which money are you using? And if I just take away your things, and I think it should not give any errors, which it is not, which is super amazing. Only tax rate. Yeah, so we need a tax rate variable as well. I'll just make it private. No, wait, we had, yeah, I'll just make it private because I don't want people to access my tax rate. Double tax rate is equal to, I think it was 0.4 we had. Where is our tax rate? Oh my god, I deleted the tax rate. Never mind. I think this should work pretty well. And as you can see, I removed the parameters because we are accessing the variables from directly from our class, so it should be all right, and there's nothing you should worry about. Let me just collapse this, and if I just go and if I just say Steve dot cal, oh, we didn't make it public, that's why we cannot call it here. So I'll just go public void and I'll say Steve dot calculate taxes. If I just do this, just this much, our code should work. As you can see, our code has been, it's more flexible now, and I can just create, go on creating many classes without having to worry about these arrays and without using for loops and stuff, which I think is super nice. And yeah, one thing, yeah, good thing I got reminded. I'll just show it to you guys in a minute. So as you can see, Steve doesn't have to pay any taxes because obviously he is poor as hell. But if I just give Steve some more money, and if I run this now, okay, we have executed this as well. What did I do wrong? Oh, there was a colon here. If I run it now, okay, wait, I'll rerun it. Yeah, so Steve has to pay 2,000 bucks as taxes. To make a summary, because it's becoming a long video if I'm not wrong. It's been 22 minutes. I'll make two parts of it. Like, I'm so sorry, I'll make two parts of it. But now we need to, as a summary again, we made a citizen class, we put all our stuff in here, we made 3 constructors, and then we took our calculate taxes method and we put it here, we removed its parameters, and everything is working flawlessly. So I guess I'll pause the video here. I'll see you guys in the next part.